So the secret to a really good crispy pata is fork tender pork under a shell of really crispy skin. So to get that, first we're gonna start boiling our pata, which is basically a pork leg. You can get pork knuckle, anything will be fine. But we like this because it has a good fat content. Now, next step is to add some onions. This is for the sake of having flavor within the pork as you're cooking it before you deep fry it. Add some peppercorns. So these are called laurel locally because they're from a scientific name, Laurus nobilis. So add quite a few. These are for the sake of aromatics. Lastly, some fish sauce. Cover it with enough water. And this is kind of how we're going to get such tender meat underneath a crispy skin, is we're going to boil it for about 30 to 45 minutes until it's just soft but not yet break apart. And we'll cover it and come back to it later. Now, Filipinos can't quite claim credit for the invention of crispy pata since the recipe already existed in Germany before its alleged invention here in the Philippines. The owners of Barrio Fiesta are often accredited for the invention of the Filipino crispy pata that we know today. They created the recipe in 1958 when they were looking for easy recipes that they could create to feed the friends of their children who frequented the restaurant. And so, crispy pata was born. Alright, so our pata has been boiling for some time now and it smells so savory. You can start to kind of get the idea of what our kare kare will taste like. So now we'll transfer it to a paper towel, not quite to the oil yet. I'm just going to pat it dry so that it doesn't kind of pop up back out at me. And I'm just going to score it. So scoring it will help with crust and getting a crunchier texture, and it's also great for presentation. So we'll fill up this pot with oil, heat it up until it's spitting hot, and then you kind of get that crust on the outside, but you don't fry the inside too much because it's already tender and cooked through. Now that our pata is dry and our oil is heated up, we're just going to drop it in very, very gently. And you want to deep fry this until the skin starts popping and turns a beautiful golden brown. Alright, so our pata has been frying. Now we'll just take it out. So you can see it's really crispy. And set it here to cool for our kare kare sauce. So just to ensure that we don't waste anything, we're getting some of the oil from our pata and we're mixing it in with these annatto seeds, which are locally called atuete, which gives our signature orangish red kare kare. There's 3 variations of the origin story of kare kare. One of them being that it originated from Pampanga. The other variation of the story is that it came from our Moro elites back before Spanish colonization. And another variation is that it came from Indian curry when we had Indian soldiers who were staying here in the Philippines. No one still quite knows where it's come from, but what people really know and recognize in kare kare is that beautiful orange sauce that comes from peanuts and annatto seeds. So to start, just drizzle it with a generous amount of oil for sauteing. And remove any seeds that you might find. We're going to add in some garlic. And you want to saute the garlic until it's a beautiful golden brown. We're adding our onions. To this, we're going to add fish sauce. So be a little bit careful how much fish sauce you add because you can always season it later. Now to this, we can add our peanut butter. I would say about 1/4 of a cup. But you can go up to 1/2 of a cup, just depending on how pure you want your sauce to be. This is where our signature kare kare flavor will come from. So you want to just dissolve the peanut butter a little bit so there's no chunks left behind. So this is where I boiled the pork knuckles earlier. I'm just going to pour it into our pot with aromats. And we'll stir this quite thoroughly. You just want everything to slowly come together. We want to add our banana hearts and cook it in the sauce as well. So we'll just throw in a couple eggplants and also some of our string beans. So if you want a really good looking eggplant, never cover it while you're cooking. At this point, I can start adding the greens. And it's just to put them on top and let them wilt into the sauce. Time to plate our crispy kare kare. So we want to get plenty of these beautiful greens. We want to get a bit of the banana hearts, some of the string beans, and of course, plenty of the sauce. So we'll put in some of our eggplants. And of course, lastly, our crispy pata. Just like that, we have our crispy kare kare. And you can see peaks of these beautiful vegetables and this peanut butter sauce that I just can't wait to dig into. All right, we've come to the most exciting part of the show, which is tasting. The texture just complements so well with this sauce. It's so crunchy. And the outside is super crisp, and the inside is just fatty and tender pork. Of course, we've got to try our vegetables.
Join me in rediscovering Filipino history and flavors in the next episodes of Simply Sarap. Visit the DFA official sites for more details.